and you're watching ZTV on the Higher Learning Network. Put your head up. Latifah, and you're watching ZTV on the Higher Learning Network. Put your head up.
Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the Mindfulness Stress Relief Coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the mindfulness stress relief coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing.
Grand Rising. Wow, what a way to start the day. I'm broadcasting live from the car this morning because we've got a whole lot of technical difficulties happening today. But thank you for your patience this morning. It is Monday, November 21st, and it is time for the holiday. And since I am a little bit behind in time this morning, I just have to give you the basics before our guest comes on at 7:30. And that was Miss Zoe. Miss Zoe will be joining us. Yes, she will be telling us why you need to learn how to speak Chinese. Okay, yeah, it's going to be an interesting show. If you're listening online, and you'd like to join the conversation after the 7:30 break, you can call in at 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. And if you're watching us online on our social media, don't forget about my Instagram page. I sometimes forget that. Zelda Speaks, the number 2 and the letter U. And on Twitter, it's Zelda Speaks and also HLNNFP. And be sure and check out our YouTube channel, Higher Learning TV Show. And our Facebook page, too, same thing. Higher Learning TV Show. And traffic and weather is sponsored by Karen Kelly of itex.com. If you are a business owner or entrepreneur looking for anything that you can buy anywhere else in any big box store, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, anywhere you can think of, car lot, because we bought a car there too. You can do that free at iTex. And you simply go to itex.com. And also the information is on my blog, zeldaspeaks.wordpress.com. But in the meantime, in between time, you can email her, Karen Kelly at itex.com. That's KarenKelly at ITEX, Karen Kelly at itex.com. And there are no reported delays on Metro or CTA, but if you're looking at the Kennedy inbound, it is a hot mess, as it always is. Serious delays on Cumberland Avenue. It is 49 minutes inbound, 31 on the reverse. On the Eatons, your usual, there's a delay at Toohey Avenue inbound. Gapers delay, so expect that. Inbound on the Eatons, it is 34 and 31 on the outbound. Inbound on the Ike, that's a whole nother show. It's 55 minutes, almost an hour there, and 39 on the reverse. On the Stevenson, not so many problems this morning. It is 34 inbound and 28 on the reverse. On the Dan Ryan, it is 19 minutes inbound and 14 minutes outbound. The delay at 95th Street coming downtown to the loop. And on the Bishop Ford, it's 11 minutes inbound and 10 minutes on the reverse. And DuSable Lakeshore Drive, it is 10 minutes in and 9 minutes on the outbound. And that's your traffic and weather sponsored by Karen Kelly of itex.com. Sorry about the noise. As you can see, I'm parked near a train station. And I do believe that's all there is in traffic. And be sure and go to the my free diabeticdonut.com, how I reversed type 2 diabetes. diabeticdonut.com, and you will see the information there. I was a pre-diabetic for over 10 years, and that's a very long time to be a diabetic and not know about it. So you might want to take that into consideration. Go and download it. It's free. Don't charge a thing. I just want somebody to benefit from it because somebody helped me, so I'm helping you. The apple, beet, cucumber, lemon, ginger, kale, and turmeric. Put it in a blender, add some water to it, and drink it with the fiber. I don't strain the fiber out because you need fiber, and there's lots of fiber. So you need that. And you also need nopalina. Nopalina. Nopalina comes from the nopal plant. And you can get the nopal plant. I get it at, is it market something or another? Well, email me, Zelda at higherlearningnetwork.org, and I can share that with you. And I'm wondering if we can have a meditation this morning because of the trains. I don't know, but we can certainly try. So let us become still as we always do, giving thanks for the power of the breath. Because the breath is our first line of defense. The breath is what will keep you in a state of being not full of anxiety. Because when you are full of anxiety or stress, you don't always make the best decisions. So you want to keep that in mind. So what we'll simply do is breathe in and breathe out. And while I'm thinking about it, I do need to remind you as you are breathing in and breathing out to pay attention to the upcoming workshop on the breath. And that breath will be, as soon as I can find this for you. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Apologies for the delay. And there it is. And now, let me find what the banner I'm trying to show you. There it is. Nope, that's not it. I keep putting it in the wrong place. One more time. Go on down the line, Zelda. There it is. It is the Worry Free Virtual Seminar. It's a Black Friday sale and it's available to you. And it is usually, as you can see, $59.95. It is on sale for Black Friday for $47.99. Makes a great gift. I know you all know somebody. We all know somebody who worries incessantly. Mother, father, sister, brother, uncle, somebody. We're always in chaos, in surviving chaos in the community, in our lives, wherever we are. And it's important that we take the time, like we're doing now, and spend some time with self. The first 5 minutes of the day, people jump up out the bed, into the shower, into their clothes, into breakfast, and out the door, and have not spent not 1 minute with self. Do you count the minutes on the toilet stool? If it's concentrated, if you can concentrate in the bathroom on the toilet, absolutely. But in the meantime, in between time, let us continue and let us begin the breathing process. As we breathe in through the nose, hold it for the count of 5, and exhale. Alrighty. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. Now, our breathing may not be synchronized, but as long as you are breathing in for 5 seconds, holding it for 5 seconds, and then blowing it out for 5 seconds, and blowing out as hard as you possibly can. As you breathe in, hold it for 5 seconds, and then exhale a little longer than you inhaled. And as you continue breathing in and breathing out, giving thanks for the power of the breath, know that you are always at the right place at the right time doing the right thing. As we continue to breathe in and breathe out, know that you have been blessed with breath that can protect you in times of chaos and confusion. As you continue to inhale deeply, and when you breathe in, feel your chest expand. And when you exhale, feel your chest deflate. You see, breathing deeply is your connection to the power within, to the one that you call God, Jesus, Yud Hey Wav Hey, Allah, Banai, Elohim, Universal Spirit, your spirit guide, whatever you choose to call it. When you inhale and exhale, you give thanks that you are always at the right place at the right time doing the right thing. And we give thanks for the power of the breath. As we inhale once more, inhale deeply, hold it, and exhale. And this time, as we take one more long, last deep inhale, inhale deeply, sending love, light, and energy from the top of the head down through the face and the neck and the shoulders. Feel free to stretch those shoulders and those arms and those hands. Give that body some movement. A body in motion stays in motion, and we want to stay in motion. So continue to breathe in and breathe out and stretch and just move and breathe, and sending the breath on down through the solar plexus, the stomach and the hips and the thighs and the knees, sending more love, light, and energy down with the breath, through the breath, down to the legs and the ankles and the arches and the insteps and the toes. Feel free to wiggle those toes. Yeah. Send that energy back up through the feet, through the ankles, through the legs and the knees. Yeah, feel free to rub those knees, because at some point, if you eat the American diet, you will have knee issues. I don't care how big you are, how small you are. It's the American diet that has our joints inflamed. So inhale deeply. And remember to eat turmeric every day. I promise you it helps. And exhale. And let's take our long, last, deep inhale deeply. And inhale. And as you exhale, bring your head forward, chin to chest. Slowly rotate the head from the left and all the way around. Bring it to the back. Slow down. You're moving too fast. And slowly bring that head back around to the right. And face forward. Inhale deeply. And as you exhale, bring your head down to your chest and slowly rotate the head to the right and around to the back. Slowly, slowly, and slowly bring it back around to the front. Slowly. And exhale. And one more long, deep breath. Inhale deeply. Turn your head to the left as far as you possibly can, feeling the stretch in the right side of the neck. And exhale. Inhale once more. Turning your head to the right side and feeling the stretch in the left side of the neck. And exhale. And as you go about your day, keep in mind the two of the most powerful words on the planet: I am. And you can choose your affirmation for the day as soon as the train goes by. I choose I am happy, I am healthy, I am whole and complete. I am divinely guided and protected. I am unique, divine, and one of a kind. Inhale deeply. Inhale and exhale. As you breathe in and breathe out, knowing that you are meditating to activate the power within. And if there's one thing that I can leave you with this exercise, and that is to remember to get out in nature. Go somewhere, put your feet in the grass, walk along the beach, walk along the trees, just go somewhere and be in nature. Spend at least 5 minutes, 30 minutes preferably, but at least 5 minutes. You deserve 5 minutes, don't you? Okay, I thought you did. Alrighty, and that is your Monday morning mindfulness meditation. And you can go to my YouTube channel, Zelda Speaks, or Zelda Speaks Mindfulness, and see lots of this. And remember, when someone comes in your face during the course of the day and try to throw you off center, bringing their chaos and confusion to you, simply blow. Inhale with the mouth, inhale through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. And if you have a little garlic or a little onion on your breath, you'll be just fine, because I promise you they'll disappear. Just like that, just disappear. And let's see what comments we have this morning. Okay, I am on my cell and I don't usually do this, so I don't know how to bring that up. So forgive me for that. Broadcasting live from the car today because we have a press conference at 8:30, and I have to be there, and there's no way I could get there in time and do the show. So of course I had to park and do the show, and that's part of being a host, is being at two places at one time. Why should you speak Chinese on Monday Morning Mindfulness? And that's what we're talking about this morning. And I've got guests. There's Zoe. There she is. All right. Hi, Zoe.
Hi, Zelda. How are you? Good morning.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Well, stay
Oh,
warm. Seems like it's not warm out there.
oh, it's very cold out here. Oh, it is so good to see you. I am sitting in my
You too.
car with the
I
heat
can
on.
see that. I can see
I'm
that.
running, yeah, I'm running around looking for a parking space, and I was like, oh my goodness, because I have to be close to City Hall when the conference starts. So you may get a chance to do a whole lot more talking than I will while I'm walking from the car to City Hall.
Okay.
So welcome, 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 welcome this morning. And thank you for being a guest on the Female Solution Blog Talk Radio and also on the Higher Learning Network. I met this dynamite little lady at a Willie Wilson press conference at City Hall. This is where I met you, and this is where I'm waiting to go this morning.
Yes.
And we just had a lovely conversation. So just tell us a little bit about yourself before we dive off into the subject of why you should learn to speak Chinese.
Well, I'm a new immigrant, first generation immigrant from China, about over 28 years ago. So all these 28 years, I've been living in Chicago. Chicago is my favorite town. And that's why I'm so devoted to make Chicago a better place. That's by, campaign for Dr. Wilson, because I believe in him. So to me, it's a great opportunity to connect with the people with like-minded who want to make Chicago a better place.
Well, you are absolutely right on target, because it's the citizens who make this city great. They
Absolutely.
have us thinking. They have us thinking the politicians run it. We run it. We just don't know it. So we give our power to them. So this is a way to do something different and take back our power. I'd like to say that.
Absolutely. And that's, we call democracy, right? We
Yes.
make the government. We choose the one who represent us, who will make our life better, not make politicians' life better by making, high, hundred some $1,000 a year working part-time in City Hall. That's
Right.
should not be the people we elect them to be. So I believe in Dr. Wilson. He has a heart for ordinary people like you and me.
Yes. Yes, he does. He does not cater to, well, if he does cater to the rich and famous, we don't. That's not our issue. That's not our business. His heart is in the right place to do the right thing for his people, and his people are humans. They don't come with a color. He stresses that all the time at the Polish American. It was so funny at the Polish American where they Polish American went to the train goes by. He was endorsed by the Polish American Congress last week, the Illinois division up on the northwest side. And during his speech, he, as he says, as he always does, he says, "I'm Polish too." And everybody clapped and got a good laugh out of that. It's because we're all human. We all come from one. We're all the same, whether we recognize it or acknowledge it or not. We're all the same. We all breathe the same air. We all bleed red blood.
Yeah, and
And
we
we all
have
want
this.
the
We
same
share the
thing.
same sun. It's not like the certain group has
Right.
different sun. We have
Right.
another sun. We share the same sun. The sun shine on them as well as on us.
Right.
So
That it does. So there should be no difference. None
and
whatsoever.
absolutely. And then I shared the back, the kind of a vision from with Dr. Wilson is because Dr. Wilson come from a very humble background, and so am I. From a very humble background, I was born in a working poor family in China, but I acquired a skill 30 years ago in China that very few Chinese has at a time by speaking English. So be able to speak a different foreign language gave me a door to many opportunities. I was very successful as a 25-year-old in China by owning my first home. Almost one several, one. I mean, I would say like tens of thousands young professionals to own a home at 25 years old. And
Yeah.
then God sent me to United States to study in Chicago. For better or for worse, that's his decision. So I'm here. And then 28 years later, I feel I'm a very successful in my own right, all by myself. I came to this country with $40 in my pocket. I have no
Wow.
family. I came for graduate school. But now I can retire, if I just keep my expenses low, and I own a condominium across from Dr. Wilson's office in a very ritzy building. And to me, the ownership of a condo in that building is a testimony of God's grace over me.
Amen.
And I want to share how I get there. And that's, and I'll start with me be able to speak a foreign language in the job market when I outshine everybody else. So that's why I want to share in the next, I would say 20 to 30 years, the most life-changing skill is speaking Chinese.
And why is that?
Because 30 years ago, America is the center of manufacturing industry. Today is China. If you go down Amazon, if you go to anywhere, Walmart, Target, look at the tags of the clothes, of the things you buy. It's made in China.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yes.
and then, in today is the e-commerce age. So the field is leveled. You don't need to own like being like a Walmart or Target or have a retail space on some street. You can even open your own digital store.
Yes.
With Amazon or even on your own TikTok.
Yes.
And then you can sell at, the 90 is almost 75% of vendors on Amazon are from China.
Say that again.
Yes. So those vendors on Amazon, 75% are from China.
Wow.
And then, you can connect with those people by being able to speak Chinese and be their vendors in the United States, have your own shop. You can be your own Amazon.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yes. So, I would say, in today's age, your job skills need to be updated all the time. But it's hard to get into. Not everybody can be a computer geek or, be a lawyer, be a doctor. You need to go through a lot of education. But learning Chinese is the easiest skill you can acquire. And as important as those being a doctor, being lawyer, being independent, be your own boss.
Really?
Yes. I always joke. You know what? When I was in China, I met my boyfriend. It's from America when I was in college. And then when I graduate, he's from Chicago. He went to China for 2 years. He was able to speak very good Chinese. If you talk to him on the phone at the time, you wouldn't think he was not from China.
Really?
Yeah. So just thinking how you learn to speak English when you're little. A 5 or 6 years old kid can speak English, right?
Right.
You didn't have to go to school to learn.
No.
You learn from your family.
Right.
From your friends.
Right.
And learning Chinese is the same way. From friends. You don't need to go to school. And you don't need to go to school. There's many things you can do. There's the YouTube channels. You can learn some Chinese. And I would like to offer to teach Chinese myself here too, if it's possible. And then,
absolutely.
And then specifically is about doing business, doing trade with China. The language, the words you need to learn, how to work with Chinese manufacturers, be their agent. And because in China they value relationships, right? So if you speak English with your partner, they treat you as a customer. But if you speak Chinese with your partner, business associate, you become their friends and family. Everybody wants to do business with a friend and family.
Yes.
So by speaking some simple Chinese words, have a simple Chinese conversation while doing business, that can take you miles.
Wow. That says a lot.
Yeah, so that's why I feel today, if you see China actually in technology wise, in terms of e-commerce, China is level 10 years or more ahead of United States. Unless you go, from today's mainstream media, you will not see that. And but you can sense that because all the fear mongering that spread on the mainstream media. If China is so far behind, why the mainstream advocate such a fear mongering about China?
Yeah.
Why they have
Right.
fear of China? Because China is ahead of them. And in 10 years, China will be far, far more ahead of the United States.
Wow.
So what opportunity presented to the Americans now is it's the same opportunity presented to me 30 years ago in China as someone who can speak a foreign language.
Mm.
It's a life-changing skills, but it's very easy to learn, to become
Really?
independent. You
Now,
be
I'm
your
so
own
glad you
boss.
said that.
Yeah, be
I'm
your
so
own
glad
boss,
you said
not what I call today's working in restaurants or being a targets, working in targets.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
just salaried slave. You are
Salary
not
slave.
independent. You
Yes.
sell your labor to them. Most productive time of a day to them. They monopolize your time and monopolize your brain, your mind. You have no time for yourself.
None.
So
None.
try to be independent. You have to learn a new skill to be able to operate your own business, be your own boss.
Mm.
That's called a freedom. That
Yeah.
will free you from this being a slave situation that you cannot afford your house.
Right.
You cannot afford vacations because all day long you are working for minimum wage that can't even pay your rent.
Yes. And you need 3 or 4 people in the house to pay the rent because the rent is so high.
Yes, but that's actually by design.
Of course.
That's the system by design. The only
Right.
way to break out is just take a little risk, like what I did 28 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Left my comfort zone, China, come to
Ah.
United States.
Mm.
Of course, being in this country, I learned how to play the game, how to play the system. You get a higher education, you enter a white collar job. You get a white collar job, then gradually you establish yourself. But what make me today be independent is I quit my salary job,
Ah.
be my own boss.
And
I
weren't you afraid? Or were you afraid?
Well, I think that time, I trust God because one day I
Mm-hmm.
gradually become a Christian. And then I remember one day I visit a house church in San Diego. Just when I was visiting a friend, I didn't know anybody in that house church. But during that church, somebody stood up and pointed at me and gave me a message saying, "God going to protect you like a bubble."
Wow.
And with that, I was liberated. I said, God going to be protect me. Even though I was at that time, I was very demoralized because I thought coming to United States was the worst decision I made. So my
Really?
first 10 years in America, I was very demoralized because America was not what I was um, advertised. Okay.
Say that again.
Yeah.
Say
So,
that again, Zoe. It
and
was not
I
what
didn't,
was
I kind
advertised.
of lost. I was demoralized. And
Mm-hmm.
I almost resigned to being, put in the situation that was not good for me. But until that message to me said, God's gonna protect me. And I say, yes, I accept that message. I become fearless. And you know what? I think before that message, God already paid the way for me to be independent. I didn't know that. In hindsight, God had a plan. Even though from the day I came to United States, if you want to even go further, maybe when I was even a 12-year-old in China, I just didn't know God had a plan for me.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I was just, I feel I have faith in God. I try to follow God's message And then, so I become, at that time, I was working in real estate, mortgages. And later I was a mini developer. And so I established myself. And then, so I'm just around 50 years old. I could just say, I don't have to work in the rat race lifestyle. I just keep my expenses low. Then I want to control my own time, my own mind. And I like to share. I want to encourage people who didn't know the outside world, who have no idea what the outside world is. I want to spread the message. I think that's my God's calling to me, to encourage everyone that for somebody who came to this country with no family support, only $40 in my pocket, but a spirit and the faith in God, I can be where I can be. And so can you.
That you are a testament to
Yes.
the possibilities of what can happen because you had faith, number one, and you had a mission, number two.
Yes.
And that faith pushed you ahead of that mission and a way was made. And that's what we have to focus on. If we're serious, it can be done. And that's
Yeah.
one of the many reasons why you should learn to speak Chinese. If you just joined us, we are speaking with Ms. Zoe Ma. I said that right.
Yes.
And we're talking about the possibilities of you taking your business, your life, if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, taking it to the next level. And you can do that because Zoe is a prime example of what can happen if you have faith. And there's a lot of faith in all communities, but until you walk the walk, nothing happens. I got to mention this. I watched a movie last night, Zoe. It's called Go Back to China. Have you seen that movie?
No.
I just stumbled across it. The gist of it was there was a father who had a daughter and he spoiled her rich, of course. He had this great big old mansion, a chauffeur, and he owned a toy plant in China. She did not want to work in a factory. So he gave her $1 million and said, go to America, get yourself an apartment and find you a job within a year. And he gave her 500,000.
Wow.
No, he gave her 500,000 just to see how she would do the first year. Of course, she blew through that partying with her girlfriends and all that. And when she went to the last event, they were partying together. I think the bill was like $2,000. And he had cut her credit card off because she was ignoring his calls. So that got her attention. And she called him, and the conversation was, you got to come home because you're not going to blow through this other $500,000. And she learned a very valuable lesson. And it's because she had went to school in New York. No, was it New York or LA? One of those. I think it was LA. And she got a degree in fashion design and she couldn't find a job. So she went back. She had no money. She didn't have a choice to go back home to China. She went back home to China and worked in the factory, started using her designs, and the factory blew up. And I mean blew up as in big, as in large, even though it had been in business, 30 something years already. It just took it to the next level. Well, I don't want to give away the whole movie, but that was a prime example of how you can use your skills, whatever they are, to speak Chinese. And I was thinking about this interview today, and I was like, wow, I got to ask Zoe if she saw that movie. But you have a powerful, powerful testimony. And I want you to speak on that because there's some issues going on around me that I need to take a look at. So I'm going to put you on the big screen and let you finish talking while I see what's going on here, because I don't have a clue. But I would like, one of the other things that I wanted to mention too was that you said you could have your business on TikTok and why are people always still trying to get you to do Amazon, do websites? You don't need a website anymore. You can do TikTok or Amazon, TikTok or Instagram. So why would you do that?
Okay.
Or do they still do that? What do you think?
Well, I think in China, the e-commerce is already going digital, moving from a website to a
Hmm.
TikTok and then like a live stream. So you see, you will see, if I get a chance, I can send you a video, a TikTok video showing a farmer live stream sales from the field selling sweet potatoes, fruit.
Wow.
So the whole transaction is doing on TikTok. I think the one thing we need to, if we get Dr. Wilson elected, one thing is Dr. Wilson is the perfect example and advocate for trading because he has his business in doing international trade with China with his medical supplies, protection,
Hmm.
medical, the supplies, the mask, and all those things. He is fluent in doing business with China, so he can share with us how doing the whole international trade transaction. Another thing is to have the function on TikTok to do all the shopping cart transaction, because in China you actually can do shopping cart transaction right on TikTok. Basically, during live stream, you can press a button and you can place your order, your payment. Sometimes you in China there is a WeChat Pay and Alipay. Like in America, you have Google Pay and Apple Pay. Same thing, and then you enter your address. The whole order is processed on TikTok. You don't even need to have a computer to build a website. That cost is already eliminated, and that's a new way of doing business with like a very low budget. So the e-commerce has lowered the threshold for people to conduct trade. You don't need to rent a storefront. You can just sell your items right on your couch in your living room. I think that's a new way of doing business. Even Amazon doesn't have that function. So TikTok, you can sell to your friends, your fans, and that way, that's your client base. And I think that's the future of retail. And I know who are the best doing social media. African Americans. They are great with selling and also social media. So I think that's a platform perfect for African American community. And by able to speaking Chinese, you can connect with the Chinese vendors directly from China. You do not need to go through Amazon anymore. You can sell to your own friends and family, and that's called in China. That's called a micro business. So right now, anybody can be their own boss at a very low cost, and then use the skills they are good at it. The only added skill and make it, the whole relationship on a higher level is being able to speak Chinese, business Chinese. So that's one thing I feel it will be a life changing skill. And I would like to help people to acquire that, and then just meet some Chinese, and they will love to teach you how to speak Chinese. And they also probably can help you find some vendors in China, help to connect them, and help you to grow on trade with China. And be your own boss, have your own store selling the items you enjoy to do to your own community and build your local economy. So I hope, I know sometimes the people think learning Chinese a very daunting task, but don't fear, a 5-year-old, 6-year-old kids can speak Chinese in China. You don't need to be a Chinese PhD to speak a very sophisticated Chinese. You just need to have a daily conversation as a 5 or 6-year-old. And, that's it's not a very tall task. So hopefully I can encourage you to learn Chinese and, help you and your friends and family to build business with China. Be your own boss. My golden rule to be independent and successful is be your own boss. Not to count on the salaried W-2 employment. That's a slave labor. They control your mind, control your time, and control your life.
Yes. You are right on target. If you want something different, you got to do something different. And that means learning the language of Chinese may be your saving grace. And that's why you should learn to speak Chinese. How?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I know actually probably a lot of African Americans do not know. There's about 200,000 Africans living in China. In South China city called Guangzhou, they actually have a place called, instead of Chinatown, they have an African village.
Really?
Yes. And those are the Africans from Africa.
Oh.
A lot of them, because a lot of Africans from Africa receive a Chinese education scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
And they study in China. Even when I was in college 30 years ago, this program started a long time ago that China gave free scholarship to Africans to study, pursue college degree in China. Many of them stayed in China after the graduation, and they start doing trade with between China and Africa. Many of them settled in a city called Guangzhou, about I think maybe 2 hours train ride from Hong Kong. So if Africans from Africa can do trade in China, so can African Americans.
I agree wholeheartedly. Wow. It's funny how non-American communities can go abroad and do well, but Americans are so afraid to tap into other communities. African Americans, that has been my experience. Even though there's a lot that travel, and they travel well, and they travel often, but there's still a lot as it relates to business. There's still a lot of hesitancy. And go ahead.
I think it's the fear mongering on the media.
Yes.
They intimidate you.
Yes.
And I would like, there's many Americans move to China. They teach English in Chinese like secondary schools, and they get paid really well. I can share you in some YouTubers, they have channel there, so they are, some is on TikTok, but I can share with you. And then the experience from them, they take China any day over America.
Wow.
So here is they manufacture a story, try to manipulate your mind, keep your mind as a slave that you do not control. So all you need to do is get a plane ticket to China. Maybe now it's not very easy because China has a strict control of COVID, because the Chinese government policy is to protect the life of citizens. Just thinking, China has 3 times of U.S. population and maybe 1% of the COVID death.
Oh, wow.
I think China maybe less because less than 10,000 Chinese died from COVID. You are talking about 1.5 million American died from COVID.
Good Lord, those numbers are ooh.
Yeah, I think in China the COVID infection rate is only 0.4%.
Wow.
And US is about 30%.
Wow.
So you can't accuse. Just every government have a different policy. My mom's still living in China as 80 years old, all by herself. She has
Really?
never got COVID. She's very well protected, and that's why I'm supporting the Chinese policy. Maybe it's very inconvenient for the economy, but for protect the senior citizens, Chinese government did its utmost to protect the life of senior citizens, including my mom. My mom have, took a vaccine, 3 doses of vaccines, but still, I feel she's well protected.
She took no vaccine, or
No, she
did you
did.
say he took 3 doses?
She did, but there's a lot of, I think the cities, there's a lot of seniors. I think seniors have very low in vaccination rate of COVID because they have, they're older, they are afraid of vaccines. So that's why China still have to have strict COVID zero, so COVID policy, just protect those who chose not to be vaccinated. And in China, you think this is it's a police state. You're probably going to arrest people not taking vaccines, but that's not the case. People have a choice because there's a low vaccination rate among senior citizens, and senior citizens in China is still a very important group of population. I can tell you, the happiest age group in China is the senior citizens in China.
Oh wow!
They are protected like a panda. They are protected like a panda.
Wow, then we need to be in China, because in America, if you're a senior, they look at you as dirt. You don't even exist.
No, China,
you're in the way.
They have free their healthcare, pension, and they actually senior citizens. China, the retirement age is 50 years old for women, 55 for men.
Wow! It used to be that here in the United States, not anymore. They moved it up to 75, 77. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then so there's the group, the age group of 50 years old. The Chinese senior citizen have a higher income than a lot of working group.
Really?
Because they make a lot of money. Senior citizens, they make a lot of money. The retirement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So the system is very different, but I think China it's a new opportunity, the new Wild West for you to explore. And the only skill you need, learn to speak Chinese. Will be open for you.
Oh, wow. So when we come back, I'm going to let you take over and do the examples of what it is that you want to do, because we did not take our 7:30 break, and it's after 8 o'clock now. So we're going to take the 8 o'clock break very shortly, because I have Naima on the switchboard and she probably has commercials to play, but I'm going to play a quick promo right here. And
Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the mindfulness stress relief coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing. Are you stressed out? Are you ready to learn some quick techniques on how to de-stress immediately? Then book your free 30-minute consultation with Zelda Speaks, the mindfulness stress relief coach, at higherlearningnetwork.org. Thanks for sharing.
Higher Learning Network. Get your head out.
It's worry-free Black Friday. If you have been worrying and you don't know where to direct that worry is a state of mind. And most of us have not learned how to control our worry. So that's the worry free workshop for Black Friday. And we do hope that you will join us. And the information is right there on the screen. Go to higherlearningnetwork.org, or you can always email me, Zelda at higherlearningnetwork.org. Makes a great gift. You don't even have to leave the house. You can send your mom, dad, sister, brother, uncle, aunt, friend, anybody. Give them gift of a worry-free life. If I've learned how to do it, you can too. So be sure and check it out. Updates will be on my blog on zeldaspeaks.wordpress.com. Did I say Zelda Speaks? I meant Zelda Speaks. And today we're back with Zoe Ma, and we are discussing why you should learn Chinese and the benefits of speaking Chinese, especially if you are a business owner or entrepreneur. And the updates will always be on my blog. Right now, I'm going to start walking because I've got to walk over to City Hall. And you are going to take it away. Oh, I forgot to mention to text stress relief to 219-699-2114 to be included in our newsletter and other information. But right about now, Zoe is going to take it away. Take it away, Zoe.
Thank you. So I think some people are thinking, well, learning Chinese may be a very difficult, because people think Chinese is the most difficult language to learn. Yes and no. Okay, my son actually is also learning Chinese now at school.
How old is he?
He's 17 years old.
Okay.
And I, a lot of, because of here you don't have an opportunity to use the language, and we have an English speaking household, so it's not very easy for him to learn. And I never sent him, like many other Chinese parents send the kids to Sunday school to learn Chinese. But now my son is going to want to be an actor in the future, and because he's Chinese American, and sometimes he was sending scripts in Chinese. So he has no choice but to learn the language, because sometimes he need that. And now he see the purpose of learn Chinese. Okay.
If you base your business on someone else's site, you are now beholden to TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Oh, good. That is Jody Susan Calhoun. She is our Tuesday morning host. I'm trying to show some of these comments before I start walking down the street. And what was the name of the movie? Back to China. That's the name of the movie, Jody. Why am I in my car? Because I've got to go to a press conference that's starting in a few minutes, and I had to do this interview. That's why I'm in my car, because I needed to be close to City Hall, because it starts at 8:30. So hope that answers your question. Love, control your own time and mind. You are absolutely right. Grand Rising. So, okay, so I've got the comments out of the way, and Naima will be joining us shortly, but right now she's not. So let me get rid of the comments, and that way you can continue. Go ahead. And try to ignore the noise.
It's okay. I think that I hope I have this opportunity to talk to you more in the future.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a part 2. You can count on
Yeah,
that.
and just speak some basic Chinese that you can feel comfortable to learn. Chinese actually is I want to just give you some surprising facts. Chinese has a very relatively uncomplicated grammar. Actually, the word order is very much like English. unlike French, German, um, and also Chinese has like no verb conjugation. You don't need to change the tense. It is eat is eat, no matter if you're in the past, in the future, or right now. So Chinese has a very simple grammar, and sometimes and then the word order is say I love you. You can almost use the same order like I, 我 love I, you 你 so I love you 我爱你 so it just make the just learn a few Chinese words and then you can maybe get by putting in the English grammar way and you can be fine. And Chinese is actually China has several hundred dialects, and and China chose one of the dialect to be the official standard language for people to communicate. So don't be afraid that you can't speak like standard Chinese, because I can tell you probably half of the Chinese population cannot speak standard Chinese. They have
Really?
yes, isn't
How's
because
that possible?
see, like people from Hong Kong, okay? Because Hong Kong is their main language, and when they speak Chinese, they have their accent, and they are not standard, but people can understand each other in the context. So they kind of, just swing it. So don't be Chinese is the language that you don't have to worry about to speak wrong, because half of the Chinese population cannot speak very good Chinese either. So you are just one of them. As long as you can speak some, you'll be fine.
You are kidding.
It's true. I can tell you, okay. In 1991, after I graduated from college, because I went to college with about 500 students from Xinjiang Uyghurs, so I decided to visit their hometown after I graduate from college. So I took a train for 5 days to Xinjiang to visit my friend's family. And guess what? His dad, who is a Uyghur, had to find an interpreter to talk to me, because still 30 years ago, there's still a lot of people do not speak Chinese.
Wow.
And then just thinking, you are in a almost like the Spanish in America. There are certain population of Spanish living in America, Hispanic living in America do not speak English, right? Same thing in China. And they speak a broken English to get by. And in China, you can speak broken Chinese to get by, because people appreciate you are willing to communicate with them. So they are very accommodating.
Okay.
So don't worry about it. You don't speak perfect Chinese, because no one is perfect. Even like for me, I'm from northeast China, like kind of Manchuria of China, New England of China. So we speak a little bit accent, and Chinese can really tell by your accent where you are from, because almost nobody speak the language you hear on radio. That's very standard, and I can tell you probably 99% of Chinese cannot speak the language that actually you hear from radio, because that's needed special training to do that.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, so don't worry about it. In China, as long as you can put a few words together, and people will help you to speak. Like I do the same with my son. I help him to put the words together, and then so he can learn.
So he speaks English better than he speaks Chinese?
Way better. But
was he born here?
Yeah, he's born here.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't want to push Chinese to him, because if there's no chance to use it, what's the point? But because he want to go to acting, and sometimes the scripts comes in Chinese, so he have to learn. So it's a life skill. He sees it as a life skill. Then he will put his heart and mind into it. But for people, I mean, if you see in the next 20 years, I think actually Biden actually issue a paper on national security, and then take the next 10 years, China is the main competitor. How do you do the competition? You have to learn from your competitor. And then the only way you learn from your competitor is be able to understand their language.
Right. You have to understand the language because otherwise there's no transaction happening.
And also because if you use, of course, there's a certain percent of Chinese speak English, but that's a second-hand knowledge
What do you mean?
because they only tell you what they want to tell you. It's not all the information available. If you can speak Chinese and you can read some Chinese, you actually learn more than what other people told you.
Ah,
So
you need to get it firsthand.
you want to have first-hand knowledge of Chinese, your business partner. You want to hear the small talks. The people want to talk behind you. You know what you have to learn what they are talking about,
Okay.
right?
Right.
And also, so you can break the barrier that put in place by the mainstream media about this fear of China.
And it's funny you should say that too, because the young girl in the movie Go Back to China that I was telling you about earlier, she could speak it, but she couldn't. Let me see. She understood it better than she could speak it. I am at City Hall. Okay, you're gonna have to take it away again because I'm at City Hall and I don't see anybody here, so I'm gonna walk through City Hall and go down to the other end because people should be here by now. Okay, take it away, Zoe.
Okay. So I think I also sent you. Remember, I sent you the video of two Africans singing Chinese song.
Right. Oh,
I think maybe we can share. There's a lot of actually, I think a year ago, I did a TikTok about
I'm sorry.
Black people in China.
This is City Hall.
And
Why did they say
so
black?
I have a lot of Africans or
Yeah.
African Americans living in China talking about their experience, and it's so funny. So I would like to share that at one point, how those people view about their life.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Living in China, and then that's they are talking from their real life experience, their first personal experience. I can speak volumes about what's possible between African Americans, Africans, and China. And then we use that kind of experience and to actually improve our personal life in America, doing trade. I think my first break in China was also in international trade because I was one of the few who can speak English in the 1990s. So I was hired by a Singaporean company, a subsidiary of Nobel Industries from Sweden. So they hire me as assistant, to the chief trade representative in Beijing. So I was given a salary of 20 times of average Chinese at the time, because my job was help facilitate the trade between China and Singapore and Sweden.
Really?
Yeah. So at that time, my buying power is equivalent to $500,000. Just thinking for a 25 years old.
Wow, that's a lot.
So, and that the only skills that I have above anybody else is being able to speak English. That's all. Because I was an English major at the university.
You were an English major, so that helped a lot.
Yeah. So, but like today, you may not need to become a Chinese major to start your business. You all you need is just kindergarten level of Chinese that you can be able to do business in China.
And how long does it take to learn just minor Chinese to be able to communicate with someone? Because I'm sure somebody wants to know that.
Um, I think if we every day we spend a little bit time, you just thinking use a Chinese speaking Chinese as icebreaker.
160. Oh, 191.
You know,
Okay.
so then you have a little bit. You'll be able to speak a little bit Chinese in about like 6 months. Let's say just 6 months. We can see, and then you know what? After that, your partner your Chinese partner will become your friend. They will teach you more, and then it's a life learning experience.
Good morning, Medea.
Good morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find this. It says City Hall is back there, and I'm like, that's 181. They must have made it wrong. I need to call them. So you go ahead, and I've got to make a call because I've got to find out where these people are. All right. Go ahead, Zoe.
Okay, so as far as the language goes, I saw a little bit on I think a university website that they were talking about some surprising facts about Chinese language. So let me just read it to you so you have an understand of. Just try to just alleviate some fear about learning Chinese, because probably in most people's mind, Chinese is a very hard language, but spoken Chinese is not that difficult. The written one can be daunting because Chinese is one of the few language is there's two set of system, the phonetic and the written are two separate system, and that make it daunting. But just conversation is much easier. So here I say it says Chinese has a relatively uncomplicated grammar. Unlike French, German, or English, Chinese has no verb conjugation, no need to memorize verb tenses, and no noun declension, like gender or number distinctions. For example, while some learning English had to learn different verb forms like see, saw, seen, all you need to do in Chinese just to remember one word, kan. Just remember, say I love you. The words love is I. But in English, you have to say I love, loves, loved. In the past, future, and present, will be loving. In China, just one word, love, I. So that make it things easier. And also,
I'm walking in now, so I've got to turn the camera around so people can see if they'll let me even use the camera
Okay.
here this morning. Hi. I'm here for the press conference.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay, Zoe, go right ahead. Let me change this. Go ahead. I'm inside, as you can see. There's people
Okay.
everywhere.
That's good.
Weird. Okay. Go ahead and talk.
And the basic word order of Chinese is subject, verb, and object, exactly like as in English. So that's why make it easier for English speakers, because it's same word order.
Okay, I don't know what's going on, but I've got to be able to pull up this show. Just keep talking till I figure this out.
Okay, so like the symbol in a sense, because there's many in terms of grammar and word order, the Chinese are very similar in English. So if you know 3 words like today we learned three words. I love you. I in Chinese is 我.
Yeah, that's
Love in Chinese is I.
Right on.
You in Chinese 你. So I love you in Chinese 我爱你. So hopefully that actually the first phrase we'll learn in Chinese. I love you. 我爱你. So when you meet, make some business connection, and then meet a Chinese partner in person, you can use the words "I love you," and I'm sure your partner will be so happy to know that you actually speak some Chinese. That's a great icebreaker, and it will make your business relationship grow very well. And then they will also like to help you to succeed in business in America. So like I said, Chinese gonna be the business language in the next 20 to 30 years. And if you want to be doing business in America, be having your own shop and have products that are actually 90% made in China, then you can import the product from China and sell in the United States. You can be your own boss and control your own life and be independent and successful. I hope learning these new skills that you do not have to go to university, spend 4 years in college, or even another 2 or 3 years in or master degree. You have this very important life skill that I can improve your life. So let's see.
Okay. Give me the mic. Oh, excuse me. Okay. I'm going to have
So
to
are
turn
you-
this around.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think maybe we can have a new.
Okay, I think we're going to have to finish this tomorrow and the
Okay.
next one because they're getting ready. So thank
Alrighty.
you so much, Zoe. We appreciate
Thank you very much. I thank you for the opportunity to say good morning today, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.
Queen Latifah, and you're watching ZTV on the Higher Learning Network. Put your hand up.
I think she's having trouble getting signatures. I think I'm number one. We've had even go come on, so we're real very happy. We've had trouble getting signatures at all. People have been signing things. I'm part of this class responsible for getting what we're out there in person. Great show business. Well, I believe it's going to help me because race was all spoken of public safety. You know, a lot of people in the city council talk public safety in private, but writing that we represent, they get on the mayor of public safety, which is all other issues. So I think it's going to help me. And, you know, and I'm glad Ray's ready for the city council because we need to raise leadership. Pardon me? You know, I ask everybody to endorse me, whether they do or you know, I don't think endorsements carry the weight that they used to carry. At the end of the day, you're going to have to run based on the issues. And I think the issue is leadership. And God knows I've taken on some tough leadership assignments over the years, so I'm looking forward to having a really healthy subcommittee. And I'll do what I've done in the past. I'm going to campaign to different input. I'm going to respond to the question. I'm going to, you know, try to keep my answers a little shorter. So I look forward to a really healthy debate because God knows the city needs it. God knows the city needs it.
Are you worried about the field being too much?
So I'm not really. Honestly, you know, the runoffs. So I think the runoff Western no, I'm not worried about the field being crowded, but I'll tell you, the field is crowded with quality candidates in part because there's a real fear in all communities that the city's moving in the wrong direction. So I think the field, to a great extent, reflects the public's dissatisfaction of the vote. Okay, thank you all. All right, have a great day. How's that, short enough? Good. It's good to see you all. Good luck. There you go. Sorry. All right, thank you.
Well, as you can see, that was Paul Ballas speaking. We're not sure when Dr. Willie Wilson is coming, but we know he'll be here. Is that it? Is anybody else speaking?
Oh, yeah.
We're live here at the press conference where Dr. Willie Wilson will speak. I guess I may as well come on here and get some footage. There's Joni Long, Channel 9. Leave my tripod here, so I'll have a space when I come back.
That's why you have so many communities, so many leaders from the Black community running too. There's a real feeling that the city is not going in the right direction, whether it's public safety, whether it's schools, whether it's affordability, whether it's investing in the long disinvested communities. I think there's just a feeling that the city is in need of new leadership, new direction, and the type of leadership that can bring the city together. And I think that's why you see as many. I think that's why Chuy decided to run. That's why Alderman Sawyer decided to retire and run, and I think that's the reason Willie's running. So, I think it's leadership. That's the issue.
Do you expect that the voter population will vote along racial lines, or do you think it's going to be based on other?
I've always had great faith in the voters to make the right decision, and the right decision on supporting the candidate who best represents their interests.